Okay, this is Modem Wars, description of how it works and how you can play it. So what I'm doing now is setting up a scenario for full war. And full war is just the maximum map and the maximum amount of units that this game can handle. As you can see, in the setup phase, I select groups of units and I can position them in their starting locations. So when you click a group, the entire group moves with it. There's various types of terrain. It's pretty simple. You have forest, which is indicated in the green. The water there, which is a river, slows down your units. The forests impede viewing, so you can hide in them. They also slow you down. As far as the units are concerned, we have infantry units and these boomers. Infantry are your main foot soldiers, and those tank-looking units are boomers. They're equivalent to mobile artillery. Height gives you an advantage, so if your units are on a hill, they inflict more damage. These guys here are riders. They're equivalent to cavalry, light and fast, lightly armored. As you can see, what I just did here is change the formation. So you can change the formation any way you'd like using the custom feature here, and you can just rearrange where your units go. So I'm setting them up in more of a line formation instead of a little square. This guy here is your spy. Spies do not do anything other than spy. They don't have any offensive capability. Spies cannot be seen by any other units except other spies. However, if there are other units in the area of your spy, then you're in trouble, or your spy's in trouble. Now here is my communication center. This is me. This is my mobile command center. Essentially, if I get this blown, if this is destroyed, then I lose the game. And same thing for the other player. So what I'm going to do is hide him in a forest to kind of keep him out of view. I'm offering also the dig in command. The dig in command allows the units to withstand more damage. There is a delay factor in the game to come in and out of dig in state. I'm also going to use this cloaking option on these guys. Pretty much what I'm going to do here is send some covert units behind enemy lines. What cloaking does is it makes the units much less visible to the enemy, and however, they cannot see and they cannot fire. So I'm just going to start the battle, get things going. What I'll first do is I'm going to start sending my spies out onto the other side to see where the enemy is. And as you can see, I've already picked up some enemy units on my screen. I've also been warned that there is another spy there, so I need to get my spy out of that area as soon as possible, because he's going to destroy them. Now here I'm going to just do a formation change and just sweep them right, so it'll make my, basically turn the formation 90 degrees. This way I can kind of sneak up along the sides without being seen. My spy did escape, and I'm going to send him into the rear for a little while. He did take on damage down to 22%, so each unit has an energy level, and once that reaches 0, the unit is destroyed. If the unit is just resting by itself, it'll slowly repair itself. So as you see here, I use my spies to sort of clear the way for my little commando units that are trying to go behind the enemy lines. The goal, of course, is try to get behind him, and somewhere in that big blob of enemy units is their communication center, which I just spotted. The computer is quite predictable and keeps all his units, for the most part, together. And his communication center travels with this big host. So at this point, what I'm going to try to do is keep my spies sort of in the vicinity. Now, as you can see here, I have a radar unit on my communication center, and what I can do is I can look for enemy units close by to me. Using that radar screen, I can also look for spies, and spies look like little blurry spots. Now, the computer will send spies to look for me, so if I see one, I can try to avoid it. And this is our status screen. We'll look at that later, but that shows you if there's damage. Kind of shows you the current statistics. So I had a spy spotted, and I got away again. And I'm just waiting for something to go on here. Kind of keeping my bulk of my forces staying put. Now the computer is a bit on the reckless side and will not withdraw once he commits himself. But what he will try to do is send these little rider units to get around the enemy, or to get around you, to try to get behind you. And sometimes it's successful. So once again, my spies are being spotted, and looks like the enemy is making a crossing. Well, I kind of want to get out of the way here, because this formation here is not really suited to take on that huge host. So I'm going to sort of get out of the way and get up to more favorable terrain. The beauty of this game is that it's at a pace that's not overwhelming. You can click and move things around, but you're not going to get overwhelmed in like 5 seconds. The units take some time to move. As you can see, doesn't happen instantly. One more scan here on radar to see if anything's going on. Right now, it's all clear. And I do have the option on that radar screen to shoot missiles. Missiles can be shot at any unit in the field. The disadvantage with missiles is that once I launch missiles, the enemy will see me on the map. So I try to avoid that if at all possible. The missiles also let you shoot down drones, which we'll look at later. But drones are sort of like cruise missiles, and they have an area that they can attack. I think 4 units wide, so they can stun up to 4 units at a time. So a few well-placed drones can create havoc on the enemy. And the only way to get around that, or the way to stop it, is to shoot down a drone. And of course, if you shoot a drone out, if your communication center launches a drone, it gives you away. Now here's a spy I caught and was destroyed, and I don't believe that spy was close enough to have seen me. But as you can see, the enemy is making a river crossing, getting his units across. In this particular game, you do get points for passing the dotted lines. So pretty much if there's a stalemate, if both communication centers survive, then depending on how many units are destroyed and how many units you actually cross over into the other side, will decide the game. So I'm shadowing this host right now with my units, And we're going to do a little scan here to see if there's any other spies in the area. He's looking for me, that's for sure. But pretty much I got myself well covered. Directly above me, I'll have some riders covering that forest. I have my units defending the hills. So we'll see how the computer decides to proceed. Now in this particular game, I don't have a recycler. There are options that let you put a recycler. That adds a little strategy to the game, so if you have the recycler enabled, it will regenerate a unit for everyone lost. And therefore you can kind of live the fight again another day. The recycler can be occupied by another unit, so in other words, if you storm the enemy's recycler and hold it, he can't replenish his force. And right now we have an all clear. No spies. Now if I did see a spy, sometimes you find a spy right next to you, and if that's the case, you know the enemy has seen you and you can go ahead and destroy him. So I'm going to shift my forces because he's moving down the middle, and I think he's going to come across, and I'm kind of a little bit exposed down at the bottom there, so I need to kind of change my formations to kind of angle myself so that I'm facing him. Your boomers, for example, you want them behind the lines. You don't want them right up front, because they will take on more damage than your infantry. And my spy has succeeded in finding the enemy communications center, but at this point I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to wait. Now my spy has been spotted, and this is not a good thing. And he's pretty much dead. It looks like the enemy has succeeded in getting all his units down, and is now coming across in force. So I am going to try to block him. And I'm just going to change my formations to face him. As you can see here, I can sort of make a little ring. If I can get him in position fast enough, they can dig in and therefore hold off this attack. As you can see, I pretty much cannot see the enemy host at all. And now I just started my communication center because he's coming across the east, and I'm pulling back my covert operation units, actually, because they're under attack. And it looks like we're going to have ourselves a battle, folks. This is when the game can get quite exciting, when your armies clash. Communication center isn't that fast either, so I'm going to keep him out of the way in case the enemy passes. At this point, I'm going to harass him a little bit. And check my radar here. All clear. So right now I'm going to move my communication center as far away as possible. Dig in more of my units and try to hold them off. At this point I'm succeeding. This attack is pretty much fumbled. And really at this point my goal is to weaken him sufficiently that I can counterattack. Now there's you saw my radar, some units coming up from the north, and this is what the little tricky. You see them as blurry objects, but I know there's some guys up there, and he's doing a little end run around me. Very kind of sneaky for the computer to do that, so I am going to try to get some other units to block them. Hopefully they can get up there in time. He's definitely pulling down. You can see right by the river there's some blurry spots, and they're now in the forest. I really need to get out of here. Yeah. I'm launching some missiles now to take out some of these units. And the computer has therefore decided to launch a drone. Let me see the drone flying over here. At this point you can try to take that drone out with missiles. Which I did successfully. My units now are gauging these units. I'm going to try to attack the enemy communications center now with my admittedly weakened force. Okay. I am under attack, and also the drone. This makes it very difficult to deal with things because you gotta deal with two enemies at once. Alright, what just happened is I was hit with a drone, and I'm under attack. As you can see, I have been stunned. I cannot see the map anymore. Luckily, I was lucky and I have enough units protecting me. But right now I need to go to my repair center. Now somewhere my units are chasing the comm and he's taking them out with missiles. I don't know if I can finish him off just because I don't have enough units there. What I do is I try to unstun myself by just continuously pressing the repair button. And try to get the vital systems back into order, so you just have to keep hitting repair until those systems get back up. So now I can charge my energy minus and eventually get back up to 100%. Of course, the only problem with this is that it takes time. The communication center of the enemy is still visible, and what I'll do is I'm going to just go after him at this point. I devastated his force. That's kind of what the computer fails to grasp sometimes, is he's too aggressive. At this point I'm going to just go in for the kill. I'm going to send all my spies over and get my communication center out of this area. Now, even though I pretty much trashed him, he could still win because he can escape. And he'll have gotten more points just from having his entire force cross over. Now, a savvy human player could just be like the Viet Cong and hide in the forest sometimes. I'm going to try not to let that happen. What I'm going to do now is going for the final kill. And I'm going to launch a drone. Because the computer will be so busy trying to track my drone that he won't be able to do that and fire missiles at by advancing infantry. You can use the drone as a reconnaissance system too. If you just can't find the enemy comsem, you can just launch a drone and bind him. Now, you just shot me down, but I'm just going to keep up the pressure. Because as you can see, my force is nearly upon him. He's at the river. I'm going to chase him. I'm getting the time warning here. The games are only allowed to last half an hour. Now he's being attacked, or he's being attacked by some of my units. I'm going to launch another drone. Maybe I'll get lucky this time. And I did. Now he is stunned. I'm going to launch my final attack. He can't move. I'm going to set the blitz option. And the blitz option makes your units go faster, and they also inflict more damage. However, it does lower their energy, so you can't blitz for too long. But in a situation like this where I need to catch him quick, the blitz is the best way to do it. And there's no way he's going to be able to do anything. Oh, here he is. But he's being attacked right now, and I won. And as you can see, there he is. That's all that's left. So that is how a game of Modem Wars is played. You can save the game and watch it later. And it's usually interesting to watch, especially some of your more epic battles. But that's it.